All right, let's dive in today. We're tackling wealth,
Ooh, wealth.
which honestly can be a bit of a confusing topic. I
Yeah.
mean, where do you even begin?
Well,
But luckily, we have this article, The Truth About Wealth. 6 things most people get wrong.
Okay.
Published, well, very recently, just the other day on December 20th, 2024.
Wow, so new.
It's got some really, I think, eye-opening stuff in here that really challenges,
Mm-hmm.
those flashy stereotypes we always see.
Absolutely.
So ready to debunk some myths.
I am so ready. Let's do it.
All right, so one of the first things that really jumped out at me from this article is that it's not just about how much you earn.
Right.
It's about what you do with what you earn.
Yeah.
They kick off with this story about Mia, who has this amazing 6-figure salary,
Uh-huh.
but she has almost no savings.
Oh, wow.
And then you've got Anna, who she's making a more, I guess, modest income,
Uh-huh.
but she owns 2 rental properties.
Wow, that's impressive.
I know. So
Fair.
what's
Sure.
going on here?
Well, it's a classic case of what they call lifestyle inflation,
Lifestyle inflation. Okay.
which is, as we make more money, we tend to spend more.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, it's easy to fall into that trap. But the real secret is to prioritize saving and investing no matter how much you're bringing in.
So even if you get that raise or that promotion,
Exactly. Think of it as paying yourself first.
pay yourself first. Okay, that's
Yeah,
a good way to remember it.
it is. It is. And this actually ties into the whole idea of delayed gratification, which can be tough.
Ugh, it's so hard.
But it's so worth it in the long run.
That's a good point.
Yeah, like each time you choose to save or invest instead of, I don't know, buying that new gadget.
That I don't need.
Exactly. You're essentially making a deposit into your future self's freedom fund.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, those small, consistent choices, they really do make a difference.
Okay, so tracking spending, saving diligently, and investing wisely. Got it.
That's it.
But speaking of investing, that's where I personally start to get a little bit overwhelmed, I guess.
Get it?
There's so much jargon, so many different options.
It's true.
Where do you even begin?
Well, it's easy to get caught up in all those, hot stock tips and the promises of getting rich quick.
Oh, yeah.
But honestly, building wealth through investing is more like a marathon
Okay.
than a sprint. It's
Yeah.
about being consistent, having patience, and making those informed decisions.
So slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly. And you want to make sure those decisions align with your own risk tolerance
Okay.
and your long-term goals.
Gotcha. So less about chasing the trends and more about,
Yes.
I guess, that steady growth.
Exactly.
Okay. What about diversifying investments? Is that part of this whole marathon approach?
Oh, absolutely. Diversification is super important for managing risk. Instead of putting all your eggs in one basket,
Okay.
you spread your investments across different asset classes, things like stocks, bonds,
Okay.
real estate, maybe even some precious metals.
So it's like you're not betting on just one horse in the race. You're spreading your bets across the whole field.
Exactly. It's all about balance and making sure you're protected no matter what the market throws your way.
That makes a lot of sense. So manage debt wisely, invest for the long haul. It's all about setting yourself up for success, right?
Absolutely. And it's funny because we often associate wealth with, extravagance.
Oh, right. Like those shows where everyone's driving fancy cars and
Exactly.
living in these huge mansions.
That's the flashy wealth myth.
The flashy wealth myth.
And this is where I think the article gets really interesting. They talk about the author's uncle, David, who's actually quite wealthy, but lives very modestly.
Right.
He prefers experiences over material possessions, drives an older car,
Huh.
finds joy in simple things like gardening.
So it's not about showing off. It's about
Exactly.
just having the freedom to live the way you want.
Exactly. It's about aligning your lifestyle with your values, not what society tells you wealth should look like.
Okay, so it's about defining what wealth really means to you
Precise.
beyond the fancy cars and the big houses.
You got it.
I like that. Now, there's this one other thing that kind of stuck with me from the article,
Okay.
and it's about debt.
Debt, yeah.
Because they feature this guy, Jason, who's making 6 figures,
Mm-hmm.
but he's drowning in credit card debt,
Wow.
which just goes to show that a big paycheck doesn't automatically solve everything.
No, it doesn't. And the article makes a really important distinction between good debt and bad debt.
Okay. Good debt versus bad debt. I like that.
Yeah. So good debt would be things like a mortgage or student loans.
Hmm.
even though they can be big commitments, they're often seen as investments in your future.
Right.
Whereas bad debt is those high-interest credit cards or personal loans that can really weigh you down.
Yeah, those are the ones you got to watch out for.
Absolutely. And the article actually suggests prioritizing paying off that high-interest debt first.
Oh, interesting. Is that because of all the interest charges?
Exactly. You want to stop that bleeding as soon as possible. Think of it as a snowball effect.
Yeah.
You pay off the smallest debt first, then roll that payment into the next one.
Okay, I see. So it's like building momentum.
Exactly. It can be really motivating to see those debts disappear.
Yeah, and saving money in the long run.
It's a win-win.
I'm really starting to rethink my own priorities here.
That's great.
It's so easy to get caught up in comparing yourself to others and feeling like you need to keep up,
Oh, I know.
especially in today's, social media world.
It's everywhere.
But it's refreshing to hear that everyone's financial journey is unique.
Absolutely. What works for one person might not work for another, and comparing yourself to others will only lead to frustration
Yeah, true.
and potentially derail your own progress.
So instead of chasing after what everyone else is doing, it's about figuring out what truly matters to you and creating a plan that reflects your values.
It's about taking control of your finances and making those conscious choices that support the life you want to live.
This is already giving me a lot to think about.
That's great.
And we've only just scratched the surface of this article.
I know, there's so much more to uncover.
There's so much more to uncover.
We've got a lot to dive into.
We do, but we're going to have to save that for next time. So we'll be back to continue our deep dive into the truth about wealth on our next episode.
Can't wait.
See you then. It's really interesting how this whole idea of wealth goes beyond just money,
Yeah, it's not just about the numbers.
Like it's about crafting a life that you really want.
Absolutely, a life of true abundance,
Yeah.
And the article really emphasizes that difference between just accumulating wealth and actually building a life that's rich and fulfilling. It's about having the freedom to do the things that matter to you.
Oh, I see.
Spending time with your loved ones,
Yeah.
pursuing your passions.
Right, like it's about using your resources to really live.
Exactly. Think about it. Would you rather have a garage full of fancy cars that you never drive?
Oh gosh, no.
Or the freedom to travel the world and pursue your hobbies and just enjoy life?
Yeah, I think for me, I definitely choose the experiences.
And that's what true wealth is all about.
It's not just about the stuff.
It's about having those strong relationships, good health, a sense of purpose, all those things that make life truly fulfilling.
It's like you can't take it with you, right?
Exactly. So why not focus on what truly matters while you're here?
That's a good point.
The article even encourages readers to define what their personal values around wealth are.
Oh, interesting.
It's not about keeping up with the Joneses.
Right.
It's about figuring out what truly matters to you.
Yeah, your own definition of wealth.
Exactly. And then aligning your financial goals with those values.
So it's like having a roadmap for your money that's based on, I guess, your own internal compass.
Precisely. It's your journey, no one else's. So figure out what you want and go after it.
One thing I really appreciate about this article is how it emphasizes frugality,
Yes, frugality is so important.
It's not about being cheap.
Right. It's not about deprivation.
Yeah.
It's about making conscious choices.
Right, like aligning your spending with your values.
Exactly. It's about finding joy in those simple pleasures, making the most of what you have,
Yeah.
and resisting that constant pressure to buy more stuff.
Which is so hard these days.
Oh, it is. We're constantly bombarded with messages telling us we need this and we need that.
Yeah, you need the latest gadgets, the newest fashion.
It's never ending.
It can be really tough to resist that pressure.
It is, but remember, it's your journey.
Right.
Focus on your goals, your values, and create a plan that works for you.
One thing I think a lot of people struggle with is asking for help when it comes to finances.
Yeah, there's definitely a stigma around that.
Like it's admitting that you don't know what you're doing.
Right, but the truth is, even the most successful people rely on experts.
Yeah, like I bet even financial advisors have their own financial advisors.
Exactly, because managing wealth effectively can be really complex,
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to things like taxes and estate planning.
Oh, yeah. Those are things I don't even want to think about.
Right, but they're important, and a good financial advisor can help you navigate all those tricky areas.
So it's like having a knowledgeable co-pilot on your financial journey.
Exactly. Someone who can help you make informed decisions.
Yeah, and avoid those costly mistakes.
Exactly. They're there to keep you on track and help you reach your goals.
And finding a trusted advisor, it doesn't have to be scary, right?
No, not at all.
It's like finding any other professional that you would work with.
Absolutely. You want someone who understands your needs, who communicates clearly,
Right.
and most importantly, someone who has your best interests at heart.
That's a good point.
So do your research, ask for recommendations, and find someone you feel comfortable with.
Yeah, like someone you can really build a partnership with.
Exactly. Someone who can help you create a plan that supports your vision for the future.
It's amazing how this article connects all these different aspects of wealth together,
Yeah, it's really interesting.
It's not just about the practical stuff like budgeting and investing. It's also about those deeper values and mindset shifts that are so important for success.
Absolutely. It takes a holistic approach.
Right. Recognizing that financial well-being is just one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. It's about creating a life of abundance in all areas.
Yeah, like that balance between your financial, emotional, and even spiritual well-being.
It's all connected.
And it's important to remember that this whole journey of building wealth, it's a marathon, not a sprint, right?
Right. There will be ups and downs along the way.
Yeah, like challenges and triumphs.
But by following those principles we've been talking about, you can set yourself up for a future of security and well-being.
This conversation has really got me thinking about my own definition of wealth.
Oh, that's great.
And what steps I need to take to, I guess, make that vision a reality.
And what about you? What resonated with you most from the article?
What really stood out to me was that emphasis on aligning your financial goals with your personal values.
Yeah, that's a powerful one.
It's a reminder that wealth isn't just about the money. It's about using your resources to create a life that's meaningful.
Absolutely. It's about finding that sweet spot where your financial well-being supports the life you truly want to live.
I love that. Crafting a life that's rich in experiences, strong relationships, and a deep sense of purpose.
You got it.
It's not just about those zeros in your bank account.
Exactly.
This article has definitely given us a lot to ponder, hasn't it?
It really has. It's a reminder that building wealth is within reach for anyone who's willing to put in the effort, make informed choices,
Right.
and stay committed to those long-term goals.
I'm so glad we had this deep dive today.
Me too.
It's been really insightful, and I hope it's sparked some inspiration for our listeners to, I guess, rethink their own relationship with money.
Yes, and what they truly want to achieve.
So we're back, diving deeper into the truth about wealth.
Back at it.
And wow, we've really covered a lot of ground.
We have.
I mean, those flashy wealth myths,
Right.
To really understanding the power of discipline and thinking long term.
Absolutely.
It's like we're looking at wealth in a totally different way now.
It's definitely a new perspective.
Yeah, like we're peeling back all those layers of expectations and getting to what really matters.
The core of it.
Yeah, creating a life that has purpose, fulfillment, and of course financial security.
It's about finding that balance,
Right.
having it all.
And what I really like about this article is that it doesn't just tell you, what to think about wealth.
Yeah.
It actually gives you those steps, those actions.
Practical advice
Yeah.
that anyone can take, no matter, what their background is or how much they're earning.
Exactly. Like it's actionable advice.
Yes, exactly.
So if we were to sum up everything we've learned,
Okay.
what would those key takeaways be? What really stands out to you?
I think, first and foremost, is that wealth is not just about a high income,
Right.
It's about building those good habits,
Yeah.
like saving diligently, investing wisely, managing your debt.
Those are the building blocks.
Yeah, the foundation.
Okay.
You got to have that solid base.
So it's not about winning the lottery.
No.
It's about those.
It's about building it brick by brick.
Yeah, like consistent choices.
Exactly.
And it's also about, I guess, resisting that temptation to,
keep up with the Joneses.
to keep up with the Joneses.
Absolutely.
And really embracing that idea of frugality.
Frugality is freedom, right?
Frugality is freedom. I like that.
Yeah, it's about being intentional with your spending and aligning it with your values.
Yeah. Figuring out what really matters to you.
Yes, your version of wealth.
And, I think one of the biggest things I've learned from this deep dive is that it's not about conforming to what society says wealth should look like.
It's about creating your own definition.
Yeah, and being true to yourself.
Absolutely. And living authentically.
And of course, we can't forget about seeking that expert guidance along the way.
Oh, definitely. Having a financial advisor can be so valuable.
Like it could feel a little intimidating, but
Right.
it's really like having a mentor
A trusted guide.
yeah, who can help you navigate all the complex stuff.
All the tricky parts.
Yeah.
You can focus on what matters most to you.
This has been such an insightful deep dive.
It really has.
And I hope it's inspired our listeners to, take a look at their own relationship with money
Absolutely.
and what they really want to achieve.
Yeah, their vision for the future.
What do you hope our listeners take away from this conversation?
I hope they feel empowered to take control of their finances, and start making those choices that are aligned with their values.
Yeah.
It's never too late to start.
It's never too late to start, yeah. I think the biggest thing is that, building wealth, it's not a destination, it's a
journey.
It's a journey.
It's ongoing.
Yeah, and it's about taking those consistent actions, those smart choices.
Celebrating the small wins.
Yeah, and enjoying the process, the ride.
Enjoy the ride, exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with this one final thought from the article.
Okay.
And it asks this really thought-provoking question.
Mm-hmm.
What does financial freedom truly mean to you?
That's a big one.
It is a big one. And what steps can you take today to move closer to that vision?
Yeah. What are those small steps you can take today that will make a difference in the long run?
I think that's a great question to really sit with.
Yeah, to reflect on.
What are your dreams, your aspirations? What would financial freedom allow you to do?
And once you have that vision, you can start making it happen.
That's it for this episode of The Deep Dive.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope you enjoyed exploring the truth about wealth with us. And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving towards your own financial freedom.